Have you ever heard someone say, women can't be real friends? Maybe you've even said it yourself, after a painful betrayal, a sudden cold silence, or a friendship that turned into rivalry. But why does this idea persist? Are women truly bad at maintaining friendships, or is there something deeper going on, something no one really talks about? In this video, we're going to explore why female friendships can be both the most powerful and the most fragile relationships. And by the end of this video, you might discover a truth that changes how you view not just your friends, but yourself. The myth of the perfect girlfriend group. Movies and TV shows love to paint a perfect picture of female friendships. The girl gang. The supportive besties who do everything together. The ones who show up at your door with ice cream and wine after a breakup. And yes, those friendships do exist. But for many women, friendship is much more complicated than it looks on screen. There's often an invisible line between love and competition, support and jealousy, closeness and comparison. And when that line gets crossed, the friendship can start to crumble. Friendship and female identity. For many women, friendships aren't just social. They're emotional lifelines. Women are often raised to value emotional intimacy, to share, to connect, to care deeply. But with that depth comes vulnerability. When you let someone that close to your heart, their words and actions carry more weight. A small comment can feel like a deep wound. A forgotten text can feel like rejection. A new friend can feel like betrayal. And that's not weakness. That's the power of emotional connection. It can either build you up or tear you down. So when a female friendship ends, it often feels like a breakup. And in many ways it is. Competition in disguise. From a young age, girls are taught to compare themselves to each other. Who's the prettiest? Who's the smartest? Who gets more attention from boys? Even in subtle ways, we're rewarded for standing out, but not always for lifting each other up. And that quiet competition doesn't stop in high school. It follows us into adulthood. It hides behind compliments like, "You're so lucky you can eat anything and stay thin." Or masked as concern, "Are you sure he's the right guy for you?" We want the best for our friends, but sometimes, deep down, we want to be the best. It's not always conscious. But when success, beauty, or love feel like limited resources, friendship starts to feel like a race. And in that race, someone always loses. Jealousy and unspoken resentments. Jealousy in female friendships isn't always loud. It whispers. It builds. It grows in the shadows of unspoken things. Maybe your best friend got the dream job and you're happy for her, but also feel left behind. Maybe she found love and now she's distant. Maybe she's glowing with confidence while you're quietly falling apart. But instead of talking about it, we stay silent. Because we don't want to seem bitter. We don't want to admit that someone we love makes us feel small. So the resentment builds. And eventually, it comes out not as honesty, but as passive aggression, cold distance, or sudden disappearance. Trust, betrayal, and the pain of losing a friend. Friendship should feel safe. It should be the place you go when the world feels heavy. But what happens when the person who is supposed to protect your secrets shares them? What happens when your biggest supporter becomes your biggest critic? Betrayal in female friendships cuts deep, not because it's unexpected, but because it's done by someone who knew exactly where your wounds were and hit them anyway. Many women have stories of that one friend, the one they trusted, confided in, loved, and lost. And the pain of that kind of loss isn't just emotional, it's personal. It makes us question our judgment. It makes us wonder if we're worthy of real connection at all. The evolutionary lens, are we wired this way? Some researchers believe that part of this tension in female friendships may be rooted in evolution. Historically, women relied on close social bonds for survival, to raise children, to build communities, to stay safe. But in small tribes, resources were limited and so were mates. That meant competition, especially for high-value partners, was sometimes a quiet but necessary part of life. While men might have expressed dominance through physical conflict, women often relied on more subtle tactics. Social exclusion, reputation damage, silent rivalry. And although we don't live in ancient tribes anymore, some of these patterns remain. We may not fight with fists, but we can still hurt with silence. We may not steal food, but we sometimes compete for validation, attention, or love, even from our closest friends. Society's double standards. But it's not just biology, it's also society. Women are often taught to be nice, to avoid conflict, to maintain harmony at all costs. So when issues arise in a friendship, they're rarely addressed directly. We bottle them up. We smile through hurt. We distance ourselves instead of confronting. On the flip side, female anger is often shamed. If a woman is direct, she's too much. If she speaks up, she's dramatic. If she calls out bad behavior, she's jealous or toxic. So we learn to suppress, to talk behind backs instead of face-to-face, to ghost instead of resolve. And over time, this emotional avoidance leads to fractured bonds, unresolved wounds, and cycles of distrust. Social media and the illusion of connection. Now let's add one more layer: social media. In a world of curated posts and filtered realities, it's easy to feel like everyone else has better friendships than you. The brunch pics, the bestie goals captions, the group selfies. But what we don't see are the tears, the cold shoulders, the uncomfortable conversations that didn't happen. Social media creates the illusion of closeness without the vulnerability that real connection requires. It becomes a stage for comparison, not connection. And that only deepens the feeling of isolation when your own friendships don't look picture perfect. What real friendship looks like beyond the fantasy. Real friendship isn't about always getting along. It's not about texting every day, posting pictures together, or never disagreeing. It's about showing up even when it's hard. It's about telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. It's about choosing each other again and again, through the highs and especially through the lows. True female friendships aren't perfect. They're messy, raw, and real. But they're also healing. Because when two women choose to be honest with each other, without jealousy, without judgment, they can build something unbreakable. The power of vulnerability. Many friendships fall apart because we're afraid to say what we really feel. We're afraid to say, "I felt left out when you didn't invite me. I miss how we used to talk. I'm happy for you, but I also feel a little jealous." But vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It's what turns surface-level connection into deep trust. When we dare to say the quiet part out loud, we give our friendship space to breathe and to grow. And yes, it's scary. But the alternative, silence, resentment, slow drifting, is far more painful in the end. Forgiveness, boundaries, and rebuilding trust. Some friendships end for good reasons: betrayal, repeated hurt, emotional harm. And in those cases, walking away can be a form of self-respect. But not every broken friendship is beyond repair. Sometimes, it just takes one honest conversation. Sometimes, it takes time, space, and then a soft return. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing to release the bitterness that keeps us stuck. And boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges. They help us show up for each other in a way that's healthy, clear, and respectful. True friendship isn't about losing yourself to stay close. It's about being fully yourself and being accepted anyway. You're not broken, and you're not alone. If you've ever been hurt by another woman, if you've ever lost a friendship you thought would last forever, if you've ever looked around and thought, "Why is it so hard to find real female friends?" I want you to know something. You're not alone. And more importantly, you are not the problem. Navigating female friendship in a world that teaches competition, silence, and comparison is incredibly hard. But the fact that you still care, still long for connection, still want to believe, that's your strength. It means you haven't given up on love, on trust, on the possibility of being seen for who you really are and accepted. The women who stay. Maybe you've had friendships that faded. Maybe you've had friends who turned their backs on you. But maybe there are still women in your life who show up. The ones who check in. The ones who cheer for you without envy. The ones who don't compete, but collaborate. These women exist. And sometimes they show up quietly, not with fanfare, but with kindness. Maybe they don't look like your ideal best friend, but they're safe. And that matters more than any aesthetic. Value them. Nurture those friendships. And if you don't have them yet, don't give up hope. They come, often when you least expect it, but most need it. So, can women be real friends? Yes, but not without work. Not without unlearning. Not without courage. This isn't just about friendship. It's about healing generations of silence, shame, and competition that were never truly ours to carry. If this video resonated with you, if it made you reflect on your friendships, your pain, or your hope, please share it. Support this project. Help us spread emotional honesty, vulnerability, and healing. Speech Balloon, leave a comment below. What's one thing you wish more women understood about friendship? Push pin and don't forget to subscribe. This channel exists to bring calm to our chaos, to make space for the conversations we all need, but rarely have. Thank you for being here. Thank you for feeling deeply. And thank you for choosing to grow.